Tony Blair wanted to use this conference for nothing less than a relaunch of Labour as a modern party on the centre-left of British politics, retaining its old values but free of its ideological baggage. There was no more symbolic way of conveying the idea of change than getting rid of the commitment to public ownership which every party member in the hall has written on their membership card. But challenging what amounts to one of the party's original commandments is a high-risk strategy which defeated one of his predecessors and risks another bout of internal warfare. Nevertheless, Tony Blair knew that he'd never be in a stronger position than now, and after consultations with his closest colleagues, he decided to open up a debate in which he would argue for scrapping Clause 4 and replacing it with a modern constitution. He left it to the end of his speech when he returned to the central theme of change.
We have changed. We were right to change. Parties that do not change die, and this party is a living movement, not an historical monument.
His message to a conference which only yesterday showed a grudging enthusiasm for change was that only by changing would Labour gain the country's trust.
Let us have that confidence that once again we can debate new ideas, new thinking, without ever fearing the taunt of betrayal. Let us say what we mean and mean what we say. Not just what we are against, but what we are for. No more dumping, no more ditching. Stop saying what we don't mean and start saying what we do mean, what we stand by, what we stand for.
Then the bombshell.
This is a modern party living in an age of change. It requires a modern constitution that says what we are in terms the public cannot misunderstand and the Tories cannot misrepresent. We are proud of our beliefs. Let's state them, and in terms that people will identify with. In every workplace, every home, every family, every community in our country. And let this party's determination to change be the symbol of the trust they can place in us to change the country.
Mr. Blair had been uncertain about how his call for a review of the party's constitution would go down with the conference. There was no obvious intake of collective breath, possibly because some of the delegates didn't realise quite what was being proposed. But Mr. Blair's aides made it clear that the leader regarded the present commitment to public ownership as too narrow and that it needed to be updated. The implication was that he would lead the attempt to get rid of it, but at a press conference he refused to be that specific.
This is not about dumping or ditching. It's about building and creating. It's about making it clear what we actually stand for as a political party, because the people of this country want us to be clear, and we are going to be clear. And I think the vast majority of people in the party will support it because it's right, it's overdue, and we will do it.
Ironically, it was John Prescott, his deputy and standard-bearer of the left, who was more explicit about the need for change.
I know that I want to see public ownership as an important strand of Labour Party thinking. I noticed that the conference has been rejecting some aspects of Clause 4 in a resolution on Monday, with more coming up. So I want to see a modern constitution that reflects the traditional values which I've always advocated in a modern setting. You'll recall that I did advocate private finance for the British railway system, because now you can get capital in a global market available to a public utility. Now that's in conflict with some certain amounts of our constitution. I'd like a clearer statement, and be sure about this, I don't see any reason why, and I'm absolutely convinced that a statement on public ownership will be contained within that.